I hope I'm audible now, because I think some internet issue is going on. So yes, I was saying about this. Okay, so Unacademy subscription features, so you can learn live from the comfort of your home. Unlimited access to all the courses will be there. Then top educators of India are going to take the class in one platform, that is Unacademy platform. Then there is a regular doubt clearing session. So after about every 3 sessions, the fourth session will be a doubt clearing session. Okay, so this fourth session, whatever doubts you have related to the topics that are previously covered, so you can clear your doubts in this session. Okay, then complete syllabus will be covered, mentorship and guidance is given, study material is given, the practice test series, live test series, then batch courses. You can have access to English batch, Hindi batch, as well as a English batch once you take the subscription. Along with that, there is a daily practice section, weekly mock test series, live quizzes, daily MCQ and subjective test series also will be there. Okay, so now if you are planning to take the subscription, so you can, since you are in class 9, okay, so you can try with the 6 months of subscription. Okay, like how exactly this works, so you can just try with this. And this is my referral code Vani YT. So with this referral code, you will be getting 10% discount on the subscription. Okay, so this is, you can try with 6 months. So if you are planning to complete class 9 and class 10 as well, so maybe you can go for the higher months of subscription also. Okay, so this is depending on your convenience. So now there is a offer for ICSE class 9 and 10 learners. So this is the offer has now been extended. So this offer, about the creative corner. Okay, so you can use the same code Vani YT. So this offer is about if you are going for 12 months and above subscription. Okay, so in that case, what you can, basically you will have access to creative corner. That is, you can enhance your hobbies in that particular case. So art and craft, or maybe music, then chess, Vedic mathematics, astronomy, astrology. So different workshops will be conducted, so you will have the access to all of this. So this is about that. Okay, so if you are planning to take the subscription, so you can use the code Vani YT. Okay, so the topic that I am going to cover, so this is about the cell theory. One second. Okay, so this is the fundamental unit. Okay, hi Samriddhi, so I hope I am audible. So one second, so there is actually, I have made a mistake with the PPT. I forgot to move it a bit. So anyway, we will discuss this one. I'll just explain it here itself. So now, the cell discovery, when we mention, okay, so there are a lot of scientists who have contributed for the discovery of cell. Like, they started it first with the microscopes. So it was not a well developed one. Okay, so later on they went on researching, and it is also given in your textbook. So they use one slice, one lens alone. Okay, so that is for a cork slice. So they just went on working on it. So for observation for the first time, so they used pond water, and also one of the scientists used the cork slice. Okay, so depending on the work that they conducted, so they mainly started observing the dead cell as well as the living cell. So actually the PPT, I have made certain changes here. One second, I think I'm covering this part. All right, so I forgot to move this part. That is why I'm covering, I guess. Anyway, so we will just see this. Okay, so now cell, when we mention, so this is the fundamental unit of life. So it is the lowest level of organization, okay, which is capable of independent existence. So this also performs the necessary functions of life. Okay, so what are the necessary functions? All the metabolic processes that occur. So this is mainly because of the cell. Okay, so now in cell, when we mention, so there are numbers are are going to vary. So there are unicellular organisms, there are multicellular organisms. Okay, so now they all start their life as a single cell itself. Okay, so all the organisms start their life as a single cell. So we can find unicellular as well as a multicellular organism. So both start their life as a single cell. So can class 9, yes, this is for class 9 itself. So I have asked them to change this particular, I think it is given as class 10 anyway, so we'll be changing it soon. Okay, so it will be made as class 9 only. So this is for class 9 itself. Okay, so now unicellular examples, so it is amoeba, single cell. Multicellular, we can have many cells. So in that case, human body, so 40 trillion cells. So we can find more number of cells in case of multicellular. That is why the name is given. So uni meaning here is, uni is single. Okay, so single celled organisms. What are those single celled organisms? Mainly we can find bacteria, then a certain yeast, like fungi. So exception is yeast again in that, because most of them are again multicellular. Okay, so certain algae that we find, so we can find algae, unicellular algae like chlamydomonas. Okay, so that is again having a function of photosynthesis, so which can perform a photosynthesis. So there are certain organisms which can be unicellular. Okay, so now with respect to that, under protista also you have studied about this one. There is actually the paramecium, euglena, amoeba. So all these are unicellular organisms. So even though they are single celled organisms, they can perform all the functions. Okay, like we say always, let's say there is excretory system in human body, or there is a digestive system in human body. Okay, so then also there is respiratory system. So now it is not that the single cell is not performing all of these functions. So even though the well developed system is not there, the single cell alone itself can perform all of these functions, like respiration can be done, the reproduction is also done. Okay, then other than that, the digestion, all right, respiration process, what all processes, circulation, so water circulation fluid can be there. Okay, so depending on that, different circulation can occur, I mean different processes can occur in a single cell itself. Okay, so it is a bacteria, yeast, or it can be algae, amoeba, paramecium, or a euglena. So in that case, so this is actually for class 9. So they have added it by mistake for class 10. Okay, but class 10 also you have these topics, I don't think, but there is cell theory is not there. Okay, so cell theory is not there. I'm going to cover cell theory itself mainly today. So this is for class 9. So I have informed them, so they'll be changing it. Okay, so yes, so now cell shape when we mention, so depending on the function. Okay, so the variation we can see wherever it is present. The cell can be columnar. Okay, so this can be columnar. The cell can be cuboidal also. Okay, so cell can be oval also, or cell can be disc shape. So now depending on their function, there is a change in their shape that can occur, and with respect to their changes, they are efficient in carrying out the work. Okay, so now one second. Okay, so now depends on function. So nerve cell when we mention, this is long and branched. Okay, so that is to send signal throughout the body. So in this case, let's say the nerve cell arises from your brain or maybe a spinal cord, and it has to reach till your leg. Okay, so nerve cell can be 1 meter long. There is a variation, so we cannot always say that the nerve cell is small or a large. So depending on the function, the size variation can be there. So it is always depending on the function, the size of the cell, and mainly the shape of the cell can vary. Now muscle cells when we mention, so these can be small, and these can be spindle shaped. What is spindle shaped? So have you seen a spindle shape? So somewhat like this. So this one we call as a spindle shape. Okay, so now there is a tip is there as such. Okay, so it is a branching also. We can see some of the muscle. So that is in case of a cardiac muscle. Just a second, I'll switch on the fan, it is too much. Just a second. All right. Please bring live diagram drawing series for this is already done. No, I have conducted Shaurya. So how to draw easily. So one session I have conducted on how to draw easily. Okay. So maybe you can watch the recording that is available. So if you want me to preferably explain something else, maybe I can do it in other classes. So do let me know what you want me to explain in that. Okay. So now depends on organism. So now if it is an animal cell or a plant cell, so depending on a structure, okay, so depending on an organism, the structure of cell is gonna vary. So now in usually in case of animal cell, when we mention, so irregular or spherical shaped cells we can find. Now plant cells, when we mention, so those can be rectangular also. So now in this case, this can be fixed, maybe fixed or changing. So amoeba can change its shape. Okay, so in that case, so this is basically change its shape. So it is same with respect to WBC also, because these WBCs can perform diapedesis. Okay, so that means they'll ooze across the capillaries, and they'll reach the site where these germs are present. Okay, so plant cell is again rigid in that case. Now variation with respect to cell size, so varies with organism, ranges 0.5 to 20 micrometer. Okay. So smallest cell is mycoplasma. The largest cell can be ostrich egg. The largest cell in the human body is basically ovum, that is about 0.1 mm diameter. The human red blood cells, so 7 micrometer diameter. Okay, so we have different types of cells. Okay, so those can be the erythroid cells, so which can be basically RBC. These are platelets. So lymphocytes, monocytes, so these are all types of WBCs. Okay, so we have different types of cells also. Again, mainly this is with respect to blood alone. Okay, but if we are talking about the whole body cells, so we have different shaped cells which are performing a different functions. Okay, so now moving on to the discovery of a cell. So Robert Hooke, that is so this is for a Robert Hooke. So this part you cannot see, I guess. Okay, so till here you cannot see, so I'll just write it here. Okay, so Robert Hooke, so he is a person who discovered the cell, that is a dead cell he observed, that is by using a cork slice. Okay, so he was observing a cork slice, and then he could find that there are some room like structures. Okay, so he could find that there is some room like structure. So then he started thinking like what it is, and what all will be there. So since he observed a dead cell, so he did not notice much of a thing. But again, in the year 1674, so it is Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, so he discovered free living cells in the pond water. Okay, so that means he took a pond water. Okay, so pond water was taken, so from there he was able to observe different living organisms. So it can be amoeba or a paramecium, euglena, so depending on from where he has taken, so we can observe all these unicellular organisms. Okay, so he observed these free living cells in the pond water. Then Robert Brown, so he discovered a nucleus in a cell. So you know that there is a nucleus. So in the nucleus, so there is a cell, and in that cell there is a nucleus. Okay, so nucleus will again have a nucleolus. The discovery of a nucleus was done by a Robert Brown. Okay, so then other than that, the protoplasm, what exactly is protoplasm? So now this one is a cell membrane. Okay, so here you can find a cytoplasm. Okay, so this one is a cytoplasm, and this one is actually a nucleus. Okay, so let me just clear this, so I'll just erase this part. Okay, so now when we mention about this, okay, so this is a cell having its own nucleus and a cytoplasm. So what is the meaning of protoplasm is, The protoplasm is nothing but which includes the cell membrane, which includes the cytoplasm. Okay, so this will include the cytoplasm and also it includes the nucleus. So all of this together it is forming a protoplasm. Okay, and this term protoplasm was given by the Purkinje. So you remember, okay, so for you anyway, those who are in class 10, so they'll have an idea. So you have studied about Purkinje fibers, right? So it is the same one. He is the same person who mentioned about the protoplasm. Now Schleiden and Schwann, so they gave the cell theory. Varco, so he mentioned about the modified cell theory. Okay, so let's see, let's have a look at this one. So it is Matthias Schleiden, a German botanist. Okay, so this is about Matthias Schleiden. Okay, so this is given by Matthias Schleiden. Okay, so he mentioned about certain properties of a plant cells, as well as there is another scientist, Theodor Schwann. So he mentioned certain properties of an animal cell as well as a plant cell. Okay, so let's see what Matthias Schleiden said. Okay, so this is related to cell theory and the discovery for the first time about the cell, the structure was carried out by these two scientists. Okay, so it is in the year 1838. The German botanist, what is botanist? Anybody has any idea on this? What is botanist? No? So botanist is basically those who study plants. Okay, so here you can see the British zoologist. So meaning is that, so those who study the animals, so those are called as zoologists, and those who study plants, so those are called as a botanist. So he was studying on plants, so he observed different kinds of cells in a plant. Okay, so now Theodor Schwann, when we mention, so that is in the year 1839. So British zoologists studied different kinds of cells in animals. Okay, so he studied different kinds of animals, cells in animals. So reported the presence of thin outer layer of a cell. Okay, so that is reported the presence. So now what he said is, the cell, it is having a thin membrane. Okay, so that is a cell membrane. So this he said with respect to animal cell. Then he also said that the plant cell is having a one more covering. So there is a presence of a cell wall. So surrounding this cell, so there is a cell wall that is present. Okay, so let's say if there are many cells as such, there can be many cell walls. Okay, so now these are surrounding cell walls, and this is a cell membrane. Okay, and this outer covering, what is there? So this is a cell wall. Okay, so the zoologist, it doesn't mean that they should study only animals. So he was working on plants also. So he said that the plants are having one more extra covering, so that is a cell wall. Okay, so now the cell theory, when we mention, so this is given by Schleiden and Schwann. So you can see that the Matthias Schleiden and Theodor Schwann gave the cell theory for the first time. So they said that all living organisms are composed of a cell. Okay, so all the living organisms are made up of a cell. The cell is the basic structural and functional unit of a life. Okay, so why do we call it as a basic structural or a functional unit is, we all humans, or maybe any living organisms, so we are all made up of cells. So this is a structural arrangement in our body. So if we observe this closely under a microscope, we can see each of these cells which are arranged like this. Okay, so there are arrangement of a cell which is done. Okay, so there can be intercellular space which can be there, or there may not be, depending on where it is present. Okay, so now all the living organisms are made up of a cell. That is why it is a structural unit. And how it is functional unit? Because these cells can carry out a function. Cellular respiration occurs, so these can perform a functions like metabolism, so metabolic activities. Okay, so there are a lot of metabolic activities that are happening. So all the metabolic activities are occurring with respect to the cells itself. Now this one, the cell theory failed to explain the formation of a new cell. So that is when a new scientist called as Rudolf Virchow. Okay, so the name of the scientist is Rudolf Virchow in the year 1855. So he said that omnicellula e cellula. The meaning is that all living organisms are made up of cells and products of cell. Okay, so now this is one cell. Okay, so this cell can actually divide. So this is dividing. Okay, so there is a division that occurs. So this old cell only is giving rise to two cells. Okay, so this is a cell division that we say. So in that case, what he said is all cells arise from the pre-existing cell. So meaning of this one, omnicellula e cellula, is that so all the cells arise from a pre-existing cell. So this was a pre-existing cell. Now the division occurred in this pre-existing cell. So we have now two cells that are formed. So these are actually they are going to grow to a size of the parental size itself. So it's not that this one will be small, the daughter cell which is produced. So these are not small. So let's see, now this is a cell. Okay, so this is dividing, and two cells are being formed. So this will be of the same size as that of a parent. Okay, so this will be of same size. So here I have shown just because a less space was there, but this is not the condition. So maybe we can erase that. Okay, so that you don't get confused. So this is original size of the cell will be maintained in this case as well. Okay, so now moving on to this one. Okay, so let's see the question. I think the cell theory. Okay, anyway, this I hope you cannot see, right? All right, so I'll just go with this. Okay, so I'll just revise this part. Okay, so cell theory is important. So in cell theory, it is given by Scleden and Shawn. So what did the cell theory say? So basically all living organisms are composed of a cell, was said by him. Okay, so the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life, was said by them. Okay, so together they said that the plants are made up of a cell, the animals are made up of a cell. Okay, but they did not say how exactly formation of a new cell occurs. Okay, so that is why there is a one more scientist who is contributing in this field. So it is not just the Scleden and the Shawn. So there is a modified cell theory. So you can see this one. So modified cell theory later on, that is in the year 1855. So there is a Rudolf Virchow who came. So he said that yes, so this is actually for class 9. Okay, so this is for class 9. Yes, so this is from the term 1 itself, class 9. Okay, but not for 10 actually, for class 9 term 1 it is. So I need to change that 10 which is written there. Okay, so this is for class 9. Okay, so now he said that the Rudolf Virchow, so he mentioned that all the cells which are arise. So here you could see that these two scientists, the Scleden and Shawn, did not mention about how the new cell formation occurs, but the Rudolf Virchow said it. So he did a lot of research. So they just don't give a statement related to a particular living organism or whatever research that they are carrying out. So in that case, they need to study a particular organism, or maybe they need to go through how exactly this process is happening. So after a lot of research he conducted, so he said that omnicellula e cellula, the meaning is that all cells arise from the pre-existing cell. So now when you are writing about a cell theory, so you will be writing about the Matthias Scleden. Okay, so it is about the Matthias Scleden also you will write. Okay, so that is Matthias Scleden. Then you will also write about Theodor Schwann. Okay, So this is about the Theodor Schwann, and also you will write about Rudolf Virchow. So these three scientists together mentioned about the changes that occur, or maybe how exactly the cells arise. Okay, so in that case, these two scientists said that the plant and the animal cells are made up of, plants and animals are made of a cells. Okay, so all the living organisms are made of a cell, was said by them after doing a lot of research. Then Rudolf Virchow said that the all organisms, so they generate a new cell, right? So all these cells arise from the pre-existing cell, was said by the Rudolf Virchow. Okay, so we completed this cell theory. Okay, so anyway, so before I end this session, so let me just say about this, because I have one more class to go now. Okay, so there is a champions batch. So this is, all the subjects are covered here. So if you are taking a subscription for ICSE class 9, so you will be getting subscription for class 10 to 12, subscription absolutely free. So introducing community, so never miss on any update from your favorite educator. Okay, so get session notes and practice material. Share your feedback directly with the educator via polls. Okay, so check out the link to the educator community below. So you will find the link in the description. Okay, so you can join the community there. So whatever they'll be sharing, so you can see, and you can also interact with the educator there. Okay, so now Bugs Bounty. So this is opportunity for all learners to report any inappropriate content in the video. So be the first one to report a particular issue to claim your prize. So report any inappropriate content using the form in the description. So that form you can link to the form you can find in the description. So how you can watch my special classes? Download the Unacademy Learner app. Open the app and click on get started. Then enter your mobile number and OTP and sign up using your email ID. Okay, so then you can select your class 6 to 12. Okay, so there is another section that is competitive exam. So you can select class 6 to 12. Then you can choose your category, ICSE class 9 or maybe a 10. Okay, so then you can select your preferred language, English, Hindi or a English. Okay, so once you do that, go to the description of this video and click on the special class link. Click on notify me and you will get notified 10 minutes before the class starts. Okay, so you can also use my code Vani Kari. Okay, so with this code you will be getting 10% discount on the subscription. Also you can unlock the free products that are there on Unacademy platform. Okay, and so download the Unacademy app now and try all of these features for free. This is my referral code. So thank you all, and so you can click on bell icon to get notified. You can subscribe to our channel, that is Unacademy ICSE and ISE boards. Like and share the video and download the Unacademy Learner app now. Okay, so this PDF anyway I can send on my Telegram channel, that is Vani Kari. So all you need to do is search Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10. Okay, so this is ICSE class 9 and 10. So there I can send you this PDF. Okay, so you can send, take the PDF from there and download the Unacademy Learner app. So actually there was a network issue that was going on. So at the very beginning, okay, so maybe there might be some disturbance in the beginning of this video. Okay, so anyway I think later on it was fine. Okay, so next month we will come up with the new topics for class 9 as well as for class 10. Okay, so we shall cover certain important topics from your term 1 syllabus in the April month as well. Okay, so but anyway complete syllabus is not covered here. So if you are planning to take up the subscription, so you can do that. You can download the Unacademy Learner app and you can use my code, that is Vani Kari. So with this referral code you will be getting 10% discount on the subscription. Okay, so see you all in the next session. Bye bye everyone. Thank you so much.